Hello and welcome to Perspectives on Faith. I'm Khalid Watkins, your host for this episode. Today we'll be talking about Muslim Spain. It was a time and place during the Middle Ages famed for its intellectual output and also its dialogue between Muslims, Christians, and Jews. Well, to help us learn a little bit more about this fascinating period, we have with us today's guest. Dr. Khalid Blankinship is a professor in the religion department here at Temple University. Dr. Blankinship, welcome.
Thank you.
So before we begin, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and your expertise, your area of expertise here at Temple?
Yes, I'm a professor of religion here at Temple University, and I've been here for 17 years. I studied history in the University of Washington, which is where I obtained my doctorate. But I also have a master's degree from Cairo University in Islamic history. I wrote my master's thesis there in Arabic. I lived in Egypt for 11 years, and I studied, in addition, informally with numerous famous sheikhs, especially Ismail Sadiq al-Adawi, the late imam of Al-Azhar Masjid.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, today's topic is about Muslim Spain. Some also refer to it as Andalus or Andalusia. There's a lot of talk about it, but exactly where and when are we talking about? What time frame and what locations?
The Muslims entered Spain, and usually we say Spain, but we mean Spain and Portugal. But we use the more familiar word Spain rather than Iberia for the whole peninsula. The Muslims entered there in 711 of the Common Era, and the last Muslim state there, Granada, surrendered in 1492. So from nearly 700 to almost 1500 is a period of 800 years of Muslim rule in Spain. And then a Muslim presence remained there until the Muslims were expelled by the Catholic Spanish kingdom about 1608. So the Muslims remained there for more than a century more.
Well, that's a very, very long time. And one thing I know is that it was a time and also a place where there were a lot of very interesting scholars and scientists who really contributed to the intellectual heritage of both the Muslim world and also the West. Now, one thing that comes up in that whole heritage, though, was the importance of faith, particularly for Muslims. Could you speak about anything in any particular passages in the Quran or the Hadith, the core sources of Islam, that would encourage people to pursue knowledge?
Well, it says as a kind of dua in the Quran, قُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا, "Oh, my Lord, increase me in knowledge." And there are other passages as well. إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاءُ, which is that only the ulama, or those of knowledge, truly fear Allah. And so there are passages like that definitely encourage knowledge. And then it is also encouraged in the Hadith, where the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man salaka tariqan ila al-ilmi, salaka Allahu lahu aw sahala Allahu lahu tariqan ila al-jannah." Whoever follows a path leading to knowledge, Allah makes easy for him a path to paradise. So definitely there's much encouragement of knowledge. And there's a hadith which is the beginning of a book, in fact, by an Andalusian Muslim, Abu Umar ibn Abdul Barr, which is that the seeking of knowledge is a requirement for every male and female Muslim.
And would this be just religious knowledge or general human knowledge, science, mathematics, other aspects of society?
Knowledge in Islam is religious knowledge, first of all, and where the Quran refers to ilm or knowledge, it means religious knowledge. However, by extension, it includes all knowledge because religion encompasses everything. And so therefore, we have to study other things in order to be able to deal with the world, in order to know our religion as well. So nothing is excluded actually from knowledge.
One term that comes up in Islamic discourse is the term al-hikmah. Could you talk a little bit about that and how that relates to specifically philosophy?
Well, hikmah, wisdom, is something that people are encouraged to follow. And the phrase al-kitabu al-hikmah is used in the Quran often. And that is frequently interpreted by the Sunni Muslims as referring to the hadith. And so it says the Quran and hadith, or the Quran and sunnah, thereby are encompassed by the idea of the hikmah. So that is one interpretation. But according to the principle that one interpretation does not exclude another, in other words, the meanings of the Quran are like an overflowing spring that springs forth and overflows with all kinds of different meanings. That a particular meaning exists does not mean that there could be other meanings that are also valid.
So that sounds really fascinating. So, I mean, within that understanding, there is already great room for differences in opinion and kind of a diversity of interpretations.
That could be taken that way, although it wouldn't have to be, because one still who wanted no diversity of opinion could say those interpretations or meanings are that do not contradict each other are acceptable, and other things are not. So that one would expect that the text is not going to contradict itself. But yes, there certainly is room for a diversity of understandings and receptions of the meanings of the different texts. There's no question of that. And the word hikmah also must be taken, therefore, as meaning wisdom, and simply is a seeking of wisdom for a thing, because people are encouraged to follow wisdom as well. And so when we talk about the letter and the spirit of something, the letter is the written text, like the Quran, that has come down, but the hikmah is the ability to interpret that text correctly. And that brings us back to the first meaning of sunnah, because the sunnah also involves the ability to interpret the text correctly. Interpreting the text correctly means that we have to approach it with an understanding of its meaning, and not merely seek to have some kind of exterior formalization where we are making some kind of formal practice without thinking what we're doing. That we wouldn't want to do.